What is up, people? Hello and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Cup Chasers Daily. That's right, your daily dose of what I'm thinking on the prevailing news surrounding the league, surrounding the Cups, surrounding the Champions League, all that good stuff, of course. And the pressure is mounting on old Mikel Arteta after the FA Cup exit yesterday, because of course it is. And as you might expect, the Arsenal fan base is in meltdown, because that's what we do. That's what we love to do. We love to freak out when anything doesn't go our way. And so smash up the likes for an overreactive fan base. Of course, subscribe to the channel if you are new. It would be an honor and a pleasure to welcome you to the community. We are growing. That's right, on the road to 500 subs. It really does help push the channel out to new viewers and old heads alike. And of course, I want to know your comments, questions, concerns, thoughts, admonitions, ambitions, and deepest, darkest desires in that comments section down below. All right. Well, it is the morning after the night before, and I was pretty steamed up last night, as most people would expect. Let's just calm down, though. Let's just all take a deep breath. It's all going to be okay. We've won 14 FA Cups before, and we've lost a whole lot more. So, it's nothing new. So let's all just take a deep breath. Let's take a deep breath. Everything's going to be all right. Now, that being said, the pressure that's rising on Mikel Arteta is absolutely real. It's absolutely heating up, getting big, and he could have perhaps released a little bit of the pressure, kind of taking the heat off of himself by winning one of these two cups. And he hasn't managed to do that. And for me, it's all on Mikel Arteta. Yesterday is all on the manager. And we spoke on that in the post-game show last night on Fire Them Cannons, of course, and here on the simulcast. But the expectations are getting really, really high on Mikel Arteta here, because there's just a little chink in the armor now, because he's still got to deliver. Like, that same remit is still there. Win a trophy or it's dark conversations. And for me, it's pretty cut and dry. If you don't win a trophy, bye. That's it. If you don't win a trophy, it's time to go. From this point, not winning anything is the most we were 97% likely to get at least one trophy on the day of the Carabao Cup final. We were 97% likely to win at least one trophy this season, and that has plummeted. Now, obviously, when you improve and you finish second 3 seasons in a row and you get better and better and better, the expectations skyrocket. The expectations are up there now. And so, yes, it's baffling. Arteta's approach to the Cup yesterday was absolutely baffling. I think starting Gabby Jesus was just the biggest mistake he could have ever made. And it's disappointing, of course, because one or two changes to that starting lineup would have changed the game dramatically. But that's in hindsight, of course, and the pressure is really on now. The pressure is on to win the big one, to win one of the big ones. And what's really disappointing to me is not necessarily the loss, but it's the mentality that Arteta took into this game, the arrogance that he brought to this game by making so many changes. It's disappointing that Arteta will seem to get an idea in his head and have a tactic to go against that idea, but he just stays with it until, even when it's not working, he just stays with it. Like, for example, why were we not putting balls into the box on the corner kicks? Yes, they have a good record against corner kicks. Yes, they defend well, strong defense, but no defense is immune to the chaos that those crosses can cause. Now, is it Odegaard just can't kick that far? Is that what it is? Is Odegaard just can't put it there like Saka and Declan Rice can? Why has he not been practicing that? If you knew Saka wasn't going to be in this game, like why has he not been practicing those corners, but instead we're practicing short corners? And we took like 10 corners yesterday. 8 or 9 of them were short, were played short with some new thing he was trying or whatever. But sometimes if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's like we were saying, why would you start such a weakened defense? For me, that's the arrogant part. Starting such a weakened defense. Now, looking forward, because we always have to, because, the sun comes up again every single day and we have to keep going. If the point was to rest for Tuesday, or is it Wednesday? Then, you have to have a response. You have to have a massive response. It has to be the strongest possible team that you can play. Not the mentality that we're going to steamroll them. Not the mentality we're just going to run them over. We had versus Southampton. Oh, we showed up today, so we're going to win. No. Go to Lisbon. I get what Arteta does in away matches in the Champions League. I get that it's, in the utmost faith in our attacking. I mean, our home form. That's what it is. The way he's approached we're going to win the home leg. And so the approach is, of course, don't concede and then win at home. That's pretty much what it is, right? But I need a bit more mentality. I need a bit more of a ruthless, lethal mentality, man. Because the pressure's on, and you absolutely, unequivocally have to have a response. Have to have a massive response. What's up, Lumen? Hope you're well. Yeah, we have to have a response on Tuesday. It's the only way that you can, keep the pressure valve down a little bit. Yeah, it's on Tuesday. That's the only way you can kind of quell the noise, And obviously, anytime there's any kind of reverse for Arsenal, the fan base has a meltdown, but it's over the top. And what it is the expectations. That's what it is. We've gotten to where the expectations are as high as they could possibly be. And so when a loss like this comes along, this one's just deflating, and Arteta has to take all this pressure on himself. He has to. And that's why it was really disappointing to see that he didn't really acknowledge that yesterday. And so I need an acknowledgement of that on Tuesday. And I think it'll be there because, of course, it'll be a different team. It'll be the strongest team we can possibly play. And if it's not, if Declan Rice and Bukayo Saka aren't in that squad, then we can have a conversation. Then there's a little bit more of a conversation about why he chose the lineup that he chose. But there can be no more disrespect of our opponents. There can be no more disrespecting our opponents. Every single game for the rest of this season, we need to approach it as a must win, we don't just get to win because we showed up today. That's what we did yesterday. Oh, we're the big bad Arsenal. We showed up, so we're going to win. No. In a quarterfinal, no less. That's what's disappointing about it. It was still a quarterfinal of a trophy, and I need the understanding. I need the realization from Arteta that we haven't won a trophy, that he has to win a trophy. He has to. Like, the back's against the wall. He has to win a trophy or you're gone. Straight up. Free corners, they were your strengths, but then Arteta decided to use them last night. Could have got a goal. I mean, that's definitely one thing to point out. Why, oh why? And I understand where his head is. I get the reasoning, but sometimes you have to take a risk. Sometimes you have to just go with what you have and continue to try to execute the same strategy. Yes, I get it. Odegaard and Gabriel Martinelli are not great or not as good as Rice and Saka on the service. But I can, in 10 corner kicks, I can hit a good one to the back post with 10 opportunities. So you're telling me that Odegaard and can't? The first time Martinelli hit one to the back post, Christian Norgard had a free header. So yeah, it's disappointing that sometimes Arteta gets a little stuck in what, you know, in he's like in his head, because it's like, well, you know, they have an advantage here, so let's switch the tactic completely and never try to attack his, you know, perceived weakness. Never try to go with it. You know, that's what's weird about that, you know, and I think that's why Arteta gets the calls of stubborn. That's why he gets the calls of set in his ways and arrogant. I was saying it was arrogance because he disrespected Southampton. But some people call his arrogance, you know, the fact that he refuses to change stuff when he gets set in it. So he'll change a tactic and then he'll refuse to, like, it's just that's the only tactic we can go with. We're not going to do anything else today. And he refuses to try to attack in multiple ways. And that's why sometimes when our first tactic in a game is shown that the defense can beat it, or, you know, Man City's press can defeat our buildup, we just like crumble. You know, we just like, oh, well, there's no plan B. So what do we do? And that's kind of, it's a little bit disappointing that I've seen that. And that's that pressure. That's the pressure that's there, you know, is that Arteta has to figure out a way to deal with this, figure out a way when, you know, we can't seem to get going, figure out a way for somebody to unlock something. And Odegaard, you know, I think has the ability to do that, but he was rusty yesterday. Let's just be honest. He was very, very rusty yesterday. That's no excuse, though. Still should have scored. Still 100% should have scored. You know, and it might have been a different day. But I think as a fan base, we still, you know, we do need to calm down. The season's not over. There is still the league. There's still the Champions League. And yes, the pressure's on, and Arteta must win one of them. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You got to win one of these, you know, and so he's got to take this pressure on himself and, you know, say to the guys, it's fine. We move on. We got Sporting on Tuesday. Massive, massive game. Let's focus back in. And that needs to be the mentality of the players. And, you know, I get that it's not even 24 hours later, but the fans need to try to start moving towards that as well. As a fan base, we need to start trying to move towards, all right, still all to play for. We'll keep our heads up. We keep going because there's still, what is it, 11 games, 12 games should we make it to the final of the Champions League. So still ton to play for, and we have to have our heads on straight for the next game and the next game and the next game. And so that's on Arteta. He's going to have to figure that out and make sure that we can make that happen. And so that's on Arteta, like I say. And when the expectations are there, when the expectations are this high, of course, you're going to, you know, it's do or die time. It's do or die time for Arteta. And I don't know what he's going to have to figure out, but he's going to have to figure out something, figure out a way to keep the noise out of the locker room. And That's a big part of competing at the very, very top. You're never going to win them all. You know, it's how we respond. That's the real question. What kind of response can Arteta get out of the guys? Because it has to be huge on Tuesday. You have to. I need the awareness, the mentality from Arteta of where the fan base is. That connect needs to come back. He needs to show us that he's aware that he absolutely laid an egg. And so I need a very energetic balls to the wall and performance on Tuesday. And if he continues to have this kind of handbrake approach, I think he's playing with fire. I think he's jumping rope with a jump rope that's on fire if he continues with this handbrake bullshit. It's time to unleash the demons, unleash the hounds, damn the torpedoes, and destroy everyone in our path. I'm sick of the game management bullshit. I'm sick of it. You know, and the pressure is really mounting on Arteta. He really needs to just release the handbrake. Release the handbrake, man. No more trying to manage our way through games. No more trying to calculate this and that. No more relying on effing 16-year-olds. Put your best guys on the field and win games, period. Because if you don't do that, if he doesn't do that, it could be really, 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 really dark. But at the moment, the pressure is real, yes. But the opportunity for huge, huge things is still there. It's still there to be had this season. And so we need to continue to get behind the team, continue to support the players. And I just need an awareness from Arteta. I just need him to show an awareness. But yeah, definitely tough to take. Definitely a tough one. I probably won't even watch Leeds West Ham today. I'm just not. I'm over it. I probably won't even watch much today. It is Easter, so try to spend some time with the wife, etc. And maybe take a big deep breath today, and then we'll get back. We'll get back at it tomorrow, of course. So yeah, that has been the Cup Chasers Daily. I certainly appreciate everyone who's tuned in. If you are new, it would be a pleasure if you subscribe to the channel, and welcome you to this community. We are on the road to 500. It does help every single time. Push it out to new viewers. And so I would certainly appreciate it if you do that. Make sure you get the notification bell on as well. Like, share, and subscribe. All that good stuff. You know the drill. I do appreciate you being here, and you will see me next time.